video about the cancellation of Brewmasters from Discovery Channel. If you're not familiar with what Brewmasters was, it was basically a cable series focused on craft brew, the behind-the-scenes look at it, and kind of the ups and downs of running a craft brewery. And they focused on Dogfish Head out of California. I saw a few episodes of the show and wasn't really too impressed. I just kind of felt it was more dull than anything else. I don't know. There's just certain things you can do shows on, certain things you can't. Doing a show about a business operating is, I don't know. I mean, it's a different thing when it's, say, like because a lot of people have complained that, you know, why wasn't this show successful if American Pickers is successful or Swamp People is successful, you know? Those are shows that basically, well, for one thing, American Pickers, women fucking love that shit. Women love that shit. Storage Wars, Pawn Stars, all this shit that has to do with trinkets and stuff like that, like auctions and just searching the globe for trinkets and shit. Women fall in love with that shit. They don't fall in love with beer shows, so you can't even compare American Pickers to Brewmasters. Brewmasters was, if anything, an experiment. Because the craft beer has grown a lot in popularity, and I think some enterprising producer thought, hey, let's capitalize on this. Well, they tested the waters, and guess what? It wasn't very marketable. Not very many people were watching it. You know, because it's not interesting watching a business function. That would be like a show about McDonald's, or, you know, like who cares? You know, nobody cares about the inner workings of how the sandwich is made. They only care about the bad stuff. Like when somebody finds a chicken head in their, you know, chicken McNuggets. That's when it's, you know, you have audience interest. The daily operations of a business, come on, that doesn't make for good TV. But, you know, the discussion really isn't to focus on the show itself and whether or not it was a good show. The focus is more or less on a rumor started by Anthony Bourdain from the Travel Channel, who said that it was basically alluded to the fact that it was Anheuser-Busch that forced Discovery Channel to pull the show. And everyone, it seems like, is taking his word for fact. For one thing, yeah, okay, Anthony Bourdain's a cool guy, he's got a cool show, but he's not one of the board of directors of Discovery Channel. He doesn't know the inner workings of their business. He doesn't know what sort of deal they struck up with, you know, Dogfish Head to do that show, or the producers who created the show. They don't know, he doesn't know anything about that. He has his own show, and he's a world-renowned chef. He's not a television executive. He doesn't broker deals left and right all the time. I mean, he doesn't, that to me, that Twitter post that he made was speculation, because I imagine he was a fan of the show, he loves craft beer, and was disappointed to see it go, like many other people were. To say that he has the inside scoop is fucking ridiculous, people. Come on. For one thing, I don't care how big the advertiser is, they don't have that kind of power or leverage to be able to do that, because you might not realize this, but these networks have contracts with their advertising sponsors. And they can't say, well, if we don't like that show, you got to pull it, or we're not going to advertise. That is a breach of contract. So it's not as simple as they made a threat and Discovery Channel, you know, got scared and ran to the hills. No, that's bullshit. That would never happen. These businesses all operate under confidentiality agreements. No one could break the news like that without risking not only their job, but their financial well-being, as they would be thrown into fucking civil court and probably, you know, sued for millions and millions of dollars for disclosing private information. It's like people just don't think. It's like they want to believe something so bad that they just discount any sort of actual proof and just go on this, oh, it had to have been Anheuser-Busch. Why the hell would Anheuser-Busch give a fuck about some cable show? That show was not impacting their sales one single solitary bit. I can guarantee you that. It's ridiculous to even think that. It's just leaping logic, and I fucking cannot stand seeing that stuff. And that's why I'm making this video. I felt compelled to make this video because it's fucking retarded. And you're making yourselves look stupid just by perpetuating this stuff. How strong of an advertiser is Budweiser on the Discovery Channel? Is their advertising dollar really that strong to where they can, you know, broker those sort of demands with a network? I don't think so. I don't even recall seeing that many Budweiser spots on Discovery Channel. Now, Spike TV, you know, Comedy Central, channels like that, yeah, you know, Speed Network, ESPN, you're going to see a wellspring of Budweiser money just flowing in those channels. But Discovery Channel, one, Anheuser-Busch is too goddamn big and too powerful, spread out too far to even be remotely concerned with one cable channel and one show. They could give a shit less. Two, if they do advertise on Discovery Channel has a contract with them to advertise. I'm sure there's different clauses in it and whatever, but the advertiser cannot hold them over the barrel of a gun and say, you're going to get rid of your programming because we say so. That's not the way the business works. You people don't know what you're talking about. Three, these channels, these networks, these cable networks have producers coming at them all the time with show ideas. Here's a show idea, and here's a show idea, and here's a show idea. And they, you know, it's just a boardroom full of people who just get to sit down and watch like a little spastic fucking, you know, practically commercial of the show that they're pitching. And they have to make a decision on whether or not they want to run with it. And when they do make that decision, like, oh yeah, we're going to go with it, it's not like they're like, full deal, 5-year you know, no. They give them like, what, 4 or 5 episodes, maybe 9 episodes to start out with, just to test the waters, probably with an option to cancel early if the ratings just aren't there. And I mean, I don't know what the contract details are going to be, but they don't give them the whole shebang right up front. So it's no big mystery that the show would get canceled if the ratings were poor, or at least not meeting the standards of what Discovery Channel wanted. Perhaps they couldn't get advertisers. You know, that's another aspect. If they can't pay for the show, they can't air the show. Maybe no advertisers are interested in covering or sponsoring that show. It's not out of the ordinary for a show to get canceled like this in an early run. It's not. It happens all the fucking time across every network. To just flip and fly and, you know, blame Anheuser-Busch for everything. Oh, it's the ball. Here's the bottom line. No one knows. Anthony Bourdain doesn't know. You know, Drinky McGee and old Fuggy motherfucker, you know, the Beer Review Twins or Beer Advocate or whatever other fucking website. None of these people know what went on in that boardroom and those meetings and how the decision came about. No one knows the details of that except for the board of directors. The board of directors of Discovery Channel and the production team that put together the show. Those are the people who know, probably at this point. I imagine Dogfish Head doesn't even know. They were just the subject of a show. They weren't the people who paid people to come in and shoot them. It wasn't their plan from the get-go. A production company came to them, asked them if they'd be interested. They were the subject. That doesn't make them privy to any sort of internal information about the show's progress or why it got canceled or how it got canceled. It'll all eventually come out, but it's too early of a stage right now for anyone to say anything, is basically what I'm saying. So that's it. Bye. Renegade hates humanity.